Ramesh, are you there? Hello. So today we have a topic next general election in India. So we had a last election in the year 2019, and the previous election was in the year 2014. So and again, if you can see, 2004, 2009, 2014, on 2019 also we had a general election. So there is an agenda for every election. Maybe there must be many agendas, but specifically when we talk about overall, there must be common agenda, for every election. So we'll try to understand what was the previous agendas of elections and what is going to be the agenda for the coming elections. So in our discussion joined by Ramesh Anna, I welcome Ramesh Anna for the today's discussion. So Ramesh Anna, can you hear me? Hello, Ramesh Anna, can you hear me? Hello. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if how far, I mean, how much time it will take for Ramesh Anna to come back. Ramesh Anna, can you hear me? Hello. So today's topic, we will try to track like what is the opinions of different panel members on the agenda for the next election. What it should be, which should be development, or it should be poverty. It should be eradicating poverty, or it should be what exactly would be the focus of the people of different opinions. And they also know the we'll also try to know what is the agenda of the government is going on right now among the people of mass, and also like, we
Hello.
have joined, yeah, we are joined by Ramesh Anna. So Ramesh Anna, welcome for today's discussion. I would like you to give a short brief introduction to the people who are watching on Facebook Live. So So for the people who are
Yeah.
watching Facebook Live, I want you to give a small brief introduction about
Uh, yeah. Today's topic, or
no, about you, Anna, first. Before I go to today's topic, I just want to have a brief
yeah,
introduction.
yeah. Hi, all. Myself K. Ramesh from Hyderabad, and I'm a part of Wake Up Call campaign quite long. And here we are discussing the issues and the topics which are relevant to our society and our daily lives. And we have a good panel members who are sharing their thoughts and uh, exploring the new ideas and other things, and the good initiative taken by Wake Up Call. Um, yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, Anna, for joining today's discussion. So we today's topic is uh, what is the agenda of next general election in India? Agenda for next general election in India. So agenda, when we talk about agenda cannot be one. Agenda can be many agendas. For a party, there will be 5 to 10 agendas, for a party. So how do that structure is designed? Like if you talk about agenda, how is the structure designed? Like what are the is it only single agenda will be there for general election, or it will be like multiple agendas will be there? Like how, like what generally people take, roti kapda makran kind of, slogans they will use. So generally slogans are the very strong motives, that goes into public. So
Hmm.
what generally strategy goes into agenda when we are campaigning?
Uh, Agendas, if you say right now, if we think that general election are is very far, if you
No, I'm
see,
not talking about
yeah,
like
huh,
present. I'm
like the
generally
top,
talking like
then
what is
generally,
the
yeah,
how it agenda is
generally,
designed actually.
Yes, yes, because as with the topic, what we have chosen that agenda for the next general election. So
Mm-hmm.
in that way, okay, the elections are so far, it's too far from now. But yeah, generally, uh, actually, we are into multi-party democracy where each party before election they release their manifestos, they release their program for next 5 years, what they will do for the people and the voters. And on based on that manifesto they ask votes. So this is actually the custom what we have, all the parties from bigger parties to smaller parties to regional parties, every party release their manifesto, and on the based on those manifesto they ask for the vote to voters to vote for them. And but the realistically what happens that these manifestos are not reaching to the voters exactly, it's been, and the votes are not voters are also not
No, no.
voting
Before I go,
on
no, no, before I go to
this
opinions,
this
before
manifestos.
no, no,
Yeah,
I'm
so
not talking about
yeah.
before I go to opinion. My question is, generally, how an agenda is designed,
No,
like
yeah, yeah, I'm coming to that because
mm,
actually this is a process of asking votes. But now what's happening is
no, no. My
only
question is, Anna,
the
do
agenda
they
what
have two, three, two,
uh,
three points, or they will take 10 points to see? Generally, people don't
no,
understand.
many, if you see the actual the vote in the parliamentary democracy, the party asks vote on the based of their manifesto. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is actually the
manifesto is a
process.
written
If you
document.
see the
Manifesto is a no.
yeah, written document, this is the
Let me
manifesto. I
uh,
have this 30
in
points or
in
40 points. If our party wins, we will
no, I
fulfill
let me
these 40 promises or 30 promises. This
no,
is
no. Let
actually
me defend.
happened in past. Yeah, yeah, it's
No,
actually happened
my
in
point is,
past.
Anna,
But
my point
now
is,
from last, yeah,
what I'm trying to say is, Anna, when we talk about manifesto will have a lot of list of things, but to go into public, we need some slogans, we need some
yes,
basic
no,
idea,
no, yes, yeah, I'm
So,
coming to yeah,
so
actually I'm coming to that part.
there is a set of that agenda starts there. When you are going into public, you
No,
need a couple
actually,
of
yeah,
points.
yeah, yeah. Because what's happening, the actual method of contesting election is this. But by
Manifesto,
to
but
shortcut that, keep yeah. But
they're
now
creating agenda,
they
short
are not.
agenda.
Yeah, they are not. They are releasing manifestos. Each and every political party just releasing manifesto as a custom only. They are not penetrating or distributing those manifesto to the voters, so the voters can read, then understand, and then vote. So that tradition is almost all now over. Now the vote only asking by some slogan or some short term agenda, or just with some emotions only. Like there will be some slogan only. Ab ki bar Modi Sarkar or Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. How the Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas will happen, nobody will ask and nobody answer that. But the slogan will be popular, the Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. But what is the mechanism of Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas? How
No,
they will
we will try
do?
to dig into that, and
There is a
that point we'll
implementation.
try to dig into what
Yeah,
that
so
points a little.
yeah, yes. So that is not there now. So now there is only the catchy slogans and
Hmm.
catchy, what do you say, the posters or those type of thing, and emotional slogans. Yeah, more emotionally they are asking for votes. It's not that with the party program or their seriousness about the next 5 years program. Those are just gone days. Now the votes are asking on the only the emotional background and a few
Yeah, yeah,
lucrative slogans only.
yeah. We are joined by Upender. Upender, hi. Good evening, Upender. Can you hear me? Hello, Upender. Can you hear me? I think you have turned on your audio. I think Upender. So yeah, meantime everyone joins. As you mentioned, you actually you getting into some of the couple of quick points. You have clearly mentioned about two things here. It's really good, informative that you have mentioned. That is, there is a difference between manifesto and agenda. So you rightly mentioned that people have no time for reading that manifesto. So what government and the government, what the any government, what any party is doing is, they are going with some slogans or some small agenda where people can easily understand the motive.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
In this, actually, there is a, if you say the last few to 4 5 elections, it has been deliberately done that now the political parties are not interested. Voters should read their manifesto. Once, if you see the 90s elections, if you go to YouTube and search for the Doordarshan, I've seen as my kid that every political party had given the time, allotted time to Doordarshan according to their size. If there is a Congress party, it's a big party, so they had given 1 hour. Opposition party has given 45 minutes, and smaller party, regional parties has given 5 minutes, 10 minutes to tell voters about their manifesto. In that half an hour, they only read. There was no speech. They read their manifesto. Okay, if we come to power, we will do number one this, number two three, number three this, four. So that tradition is now gone. Yeah, now we have 24 hours, 100 channels, but in any election, you have in India from last 2 3 elections I observed. So neither political parties are interested to discuss about their manifesto, neither the private news channels are showing interest on discussing the manifestos. They are only just political party are just promoting their slogans, catchy slogans, and the media is showing that only. So there is a
yeah,
shift of
yeah.
the
We'll discuss.
campaign
Yeah,
structure.
no. You mentioned
We have
about
witnessed.
you mentioned about how the 90s election was there. Like people used to read all the manifesto and how they were given time. So before I come back to you, Anna, we are joined by Upender also. Upender, can you hear me? Upender, if possible, if can you turn on your video, if possible. Hi, Parvez Kanji. Parvez Kanji, your voice is not audible.
Just a minute.
So, Upender, if possible, can you turn on your video if possible, or can you speak, Upender? Hello.
Is it okay?
Yeah. So I want Upender to introduce himself to other panel members and the people watching live, Facebook live. Upender. Upender, hello. Upender, can you hear me? Hello, Upender. I request Upender to introduce himself. Hello, Upender, can you hear me? Parvez Kanji, can you introduce yourself to the panel members and to the people watching on Facebook live?
Sure. Hello everyone, this is Parvez Khan, a communication coach from Aurangabad, Maharashtra. And today we have a very good topic, that is the agenda for election. Thank you.
Yeah. So Upender, I'm trying to, I don't know if Upender is, I trying to ask Upender to speak. Upender, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, I'll try to communicate with Upender. Meantime, Murliana, can you introduce yourself to the panel members and people watching on Facebook Live?
Wait a minute.
Hello, Murliana. After a long time, you are on Wake Up Call campaign. So welcome back once again.
Thank
So
you,
I want
Ravi and all panel members.
So I want you to
This is,
introduce.
After a
yes.
long time, Murli, how are you?
I'm good and I'm good. What about you? Okay, let's go.
Fine.
Myself, I'm Palla Murli. I'm a student. All India Federation of Democratic Student Organization state president, and I have a I'm social activist also, and doing running as a NGO called Tiranga Youth of India. And actually, I was little bit busy from last 2 weeks. Actually, today topic is very interesting. That's why I take it time to come in this panel. Thank you, Ravi, for
Yeah.
yeah.
So I will quickly slip into the discussion. Meantime, I will see Upender would be like to speak. So I just want to go to Parvez Kanji. So Parvez Kanji, my question is quickly we will slip into the discussion. So when we talk about agenda, as Ramesh Anna mentioned that there is something called manifesto, and there is something called slogans, and there is something called agenda. So if you can quickly differentiate between agenda, manifesto, and slogans for the elections, general elections. So today's topic is agenda, because agenda I took because the topic we took agenda because agenda is something that the mindset of the particular party. So can you quickly explain us as per your knowledge? Can you explain what is agenda?
Yeah, definitely.
Then
See, yeah, agenda, manifesto, and
agenda,
slogan.
manifesto, and slogans. Yeah.
Slogan, yes. First of all, any political party which has this manifesto, agenda, and slogan, these all three should match with each other. But unfortunately, it does not happen. Agenda is something hidden intention of a political party, or it is known to all sometimes, but most of the time agendas are hidden. Manifesto, nowadays manifesto is just a formalities to show another face of any particular party. And slogan, again, there are two types of slogan. The one slogan which is just a kind of which matches with the their manifesto, and slogan, another slogan which matches with their agenda. So as I said, all three things should match with each other. But nowadays agendas are different than manifesto.
I want
And according to that,
Ramesh also to enter here, as Parvez Kanji rightly mentioned. Ramesh Anna, I think parallelly, if you can both like Parvez Kanji has mentioned. Ramesh Anna, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ravi.
So Parvez Kanji, I think you heard Parvez Kanji saying
Yes,
rightly
yes.
mentioned.
Yeah,
Parvez Kanji.
yeah, because I totally agree with Parvez bhai that now the manifesto is just a formality. Yeah, so nobody is taking serious manifesto, neither political parties or neither voters also, because voters are also are not keen on reading manifesto and understanding the manifesto. And the more the voting is asked only on the slogans, and the voters are voting on the slogans. So that is the what is the trend is going on from last 2-3 elections. I am seeing that personally. So I'm totally agree with Parvez bhai that now this manifesto is just a formality.
Yeah, Parvez Kanji, continue.
yes. So because you know what happened, agenda, it is a long-term planning, and most of the time agenda is based on how to get maximum votes from the people. And these political parties know what attracts the people, especially when a political party is contesting election in a particular region. So they have one agenda in that particular region, but when they changes the region, they changes the agenda also. For example, if any region there is a controversial issue regarding any particular community, religion, or particular place, so these political parties sometimes changes their
Or emotion
agenda
also.
also
Emotion.
according to region also. So that is really very bad. Manifesto is common for everywhere. Everybody talks about development, but actually, the manifesto does not match with the agenda. So voters should consider whether the agenda is similar to the manifesto.
Okay, I'll go to Murli Anna. Hello, Murli Anna.
Yes, sir.
So I want you to, as rightly, I mean, very clearly, with lot of clarity, Ramesh Anna has explained, and then Parvez Kanji has explained very clearly, step by step, what is agenda, what is manifesto, and what are the slogans, and what are different types of slogans. So how do you look at agenda, manifesto, and slogan? How do you define them? How do you explain them?
See, however, in Indian politics system, agendas, what we are saying, that
Hmm.
all are trash.
Hmm.
In this election system, which is we are um, right, we are in right a situation. The election system is completely running in means what general election system is completely running based on the money politics.
Agenda.
That's it.
That's what agendas. That's what they're running on
Yeah.
agendas, not on the manifesto.
Yes. Manifesto is hidden means what their party want to do,
Hmm.
what their
That
party
is
want
just
to do,
for.
how they can means what how they can get votes from people, that is their agendas being on manifesto, but people are
Can you
not
hear me? Hello.
hello.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Anna, go ahead.
um, People are not seeing the manifestos at all. They are just listens at elections time. People just listens what speeches. That's all. Not nobody. Few people will see manifestos at all.
Hmm.
Almost 80% people don't see any manifesto. They listen only bhashan, and
That's what
they will
slogans.
motivate with
They get
slogan.
motivated slogans or
Yes.
speeches. Yeah.
Yes, and moreover, liquor and money both are politics ruling, or politics ruling two things. One, the first thing is money, and second is liquor.
Hmm. So we got
Agendas.
Upender also. Upender, can you hear me? Hello. Upender,
Yeah,
you were trying from so much, lot of time you were there. Mulyan, I will come back to you. So,
Okay,
like,
okay,
just
no
hang
issue,
out.
no issue, no
Upender,
issue.
Upender, Upender, we are all discussing about what are the difference between agenda, manifesto, and uh, slogans. So, how do you see them?
okay. If you a manifesto is certain promises that a party makes they would fulfill when they come into power. Okay. Unfortunately, in India, not many of them goes through this manifestos. I say at least maybe in the in 100%, maybe 5%. If 5% is also an exaggerating figure. Uh, at the max, 5% people might be reviewing this manifesto. So coming to slogans, slogan is a one or two statements that connects to their voter base and makes them think that this person should be our leader, or this person should be the one that should come to power in the next elections. So it's more like an emotional pitch that connects to mass people. So what is the
Okay.
other
Yeah.
agenda?
Mm-hmm. So,
So
what is the
agenda
agenda?
is
Yeah.
like a set of items that the party likes to discuss within the internal meeting. I think this is nothing to do with campaigning and all. Maybe these strategies they need to come up is based on this internal agenda they'll have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what everyone are agreeing actually. So we'll quickly go into discussion. So I just want to mention here uh, present the past four general elections. So Ramesh, Anna, if you can quickly, if you can, brief out some of the general elections. Ramesh, Anna, hello. Ramesh, Anna, and other also can contribute here. So my point is, we had some general elections. So hello, Ramesh, Anna, are you there? Okay. So Parvez Khanji, let's talk about the general elections. What we had. Okay, we'll talk about 2004. 2004, we had 2004 general elections, we had 2009, then we had 2014 and 2019. So we will focus on these 4 general elections, and so that it will also give a kind of idea that what is going to be the next agenda for the next elections. So one of the important some of the important fight term before the fight term was run successfully, like
Hello.
yeah, yeah, Ramesh.
Yeah.
So we are discussing. We want to know the agenda of the 2004, 2009,
Yeah.
2014, and 2019. What was the agendas? So quickly,
Yes.
if you can tell me 2004, 2009,
Yeah.
2014, and 2019. What were the agendas actually?
Uh, uh, shall I go or Parvez Bhai is?
Yeah. Even
Yeah,
Parvez will
you can.
Parvez Khan will
You
join.
can
You
continue.
can.
Continue.
Okay. Yeah. So if you see the 2004 election, which was Vajpayee Sahab was a PM, and he was contesting election as a PM candidate for the NDA. And then that time there was a slogan which was very famous, India Shining. Most people maybe remember that. That there was a particular India Shining
One second. One second.
slogan was very. Hello.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So India Shining was very famous slogan that time. That with that slogan there was a push by the particular government that yes, in last 6 years we have done so many good reforms that now the India is shining on the uh, in the international platform, and it was there was so many ads. If you can remember, it's still in YouTube, and India Shining ads. The famous slogan and agenda pushed by that government that time. But again, unfortunately, that slogan not gone well with the people, and they rejected. So sometimes what's happened, the agendas or the slogans what we try to push deliberately, and it's not come from the bottom of the voters, and it can backfire. So that election has actually was a roundabout, and India lost that election. The concept of India shining, agenda of India shining was not got well with the voters, and people not understood that what they are talking because of the few things. And if you see in 2009 again, Congress UPA government has given one funny slogan of Jai Ho, because in 2008 that movie Slumdog Millionaire was big hit. A.R. Rahman got national award, sorry, Oscar for that particular song. And Congress party officially brought the rights of those songs, and they used for the official campaign, Jai Ho campaign that time. They have used in 2009. If you remember that in 2009. Now again, I said earlier that after 2000, the trends of election had changed from the manifestos to the issues. It come to only with the slogans and agendas like this kind of thing. So there was no manifestos are sidelined and everything, but slogans were more highlighted the elections. Same way in 2014, everybody knows the famous slogans like Abki Baar Modi Sarkar and Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. Those are the slogans which were very popular and everywhere and it just took as a storm, and uh, the party got maximum number of votes, seats, and after 85, I think the first party to get absolute majority. So goes very well with the masses, and masses accepted that, and they voted. Again, 2019, Abki Baar Fir Modi Sarkar, the same slogan they have repeated, and it's worked out. So last 4-5 election, if you see, it's like a setting a trend with the one slogan and one the agenda of individual charisma. If you say last 2-3 election, it was more contested on the individual charisma, on the name of it's more like American style of election now. We are getting where the person the personality cults are more. Because आप एक personality को खड़े करो और उसके against में कौन है? There is no कि the manifestos or the issues or the agendas or the discussion. It will be person versus person. So that kind of elections we have seen in last two elections. It's fought on that line in India.
Okay,
And it's,
so the
yeah,
same
it will
point,
be
Anna,
continued.
I want Parvez Khanji to add on this same points. Parvez
Yeah,
Khanji, go ahead.
as Ramesh Anna said about election of 2004 and 2014, I would like to tell that why NDA lost in 2004, because you know what happened when
Yeah.
when the action of a political party is far different than their slogan, then
Yes,
people
absolutely.
don't get into their trap. So in
Correct.
2004, what happened? In NDA government, we fought Kargil war,
Yeah.
and in that, of course, we know what we lost, many soldiers we lost, and it was really economically also, it was very disaster for the nation. Again, in 2002, that Gujarat riots happened. So during NDA tenure, what happened? A lot of means communal violence and the border tension was there.
Correct. Correct.
Then NDA government decided to give another slogan. That time they didn't use army or soldiers. They used a different term, that is shining India. So people understood it. The common voters, they understood it that the slogan does not match with their action, whatever they have done in 5 years. Therefore, people didn't vote for them. Now in 2014, what happened? Already Congress or we can say UPA government ruled for 10 years, and immediately before that, in 2012 and 13, there was Anna movement.
I think there was.
India.
I want to add one thing, Parvez Khanji. In 2014, there was Congress Hatao Desh Bachao something slogan also was.
No, Anna movement worked a lot. Anna movement, that the India against corruption.
Corruption.
And it was one of the movements which got very good response from all corner of the
Common, yeah, for the
country.
for the
So
common people.
that movement somewhere means revives the means citizens' emotions, and people realize that what is happening. There are so many malpractices that there is
And
inflation,
one point
and
I
people
want
don't
to
have.
add, Parvez bhai, on this, that this is actually, I think, the first moment where the middle class joined in a
Participated.
large number.
Yeah.
Because earlier, any movement,
Yeah,
if you see, the middle class almost all very much in the sidelines of any movement. The movement almost
So
by
that helps
farmers or
definitely.
so this anti-corruption movement was actually the middle class who took the stage in. So middle class people were more into center stage. So that
And it was
benefited
severely.
the
I
Congress.
will give you one more example of this movement. This movement was so severely against UPA government that not only the BJP government, but Arvind Kejriwal also realized the severity of that particular movement, and he himself started a new party because he was damn sure that people would vote him. So this is the example that why UPA government lost 2014, because people were much worried about the lack of jobs, inflation, again corruption, scams. These were the main issues. So this was the reason of UPA government to lose election in 2014. But what happened? What happened when the UPA or BJP government party, when they were campaigning, their main slogans were "Garibi hatao," "Shiksha lao," means "मैं देश नहीं बिकने दूंगा," "काला धन." These were the issues, or these were the slogans during that election. But what happened? Nothing changed. Again, the things got even worse today. Now in 2019, why the same government is elected again? So we can say that the format of polarization worked a lot. So I think I want to mention only 2004 and 14 why the running government lost the election.
Hey.
Yeah, Parvez Khanji, continue, Parvez Khanji.
Yeah.
So I'll go to Murli also. Murliana, you can. I want you to add a point here. After that, I'll go to Upender Gar. I want to add Murliana a point here in these four elections. 2004, 2019, 2009, 14, and 19. So this Parvez Khanji added some points. Rameshan added many points, and I want you to add points in here. This 4, 19, 2009, 14, and 19. Murliana, are you there?
Yes, yes. Ravi, you can proceed with someone. I'll talk to you
Yeah.
later. Okay.
So we got Upender. Hi, Upender. I want you to add a few points here in 2044 and 9, 14, and 19.
Sure. Most of the points are covered by other panelists. The other trend that I see here is, if you observed in 2004, BJP was in power. 2009, Congress was in power, and by 2014, the public has realized that neither parties are good. So the parties have come up with a new idea that we should not project party slogan, rather than glorify the could be the Prime Minister of India. So that's how I see Ab Ki Bari Modi Sarkar, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And in 2019, it is again the same. So it is more of a PR work rather than the slogan of a political party. And what they would do is they come into power. So this is a new trend that I observe from 2004 to 2019. Personal glorification of a candidate. So with this, the people do not think of whom they are voting in the individual constituencies. Rather, they thought any vote that I give, either it goes to this prime minister candidate or it goes to the opposition party. So it is not between parties and parties. It is between one party against a candidate. So that's how they saw and
Okay.
voted.
Okay. So I also request Santosh and Mahesh also is there. So if they want to add few points, Mahesh, hello. Hello, Mahesh. I'll go to Mahesh. Hello, Mahesh, can you hear me? हेलो महेश నీకు వినిపిస్తుందా మహేష్ मेरा क्वेश्चन क्या है कि 2004 में एजेंडा क्या था 2009 में एजेंडा क्या था और 14 में और 2019 में एजेंडा क्या था नेशनल इलेक्शंस में जनरल इलेक्शंस में
जनरल इलेक्शंस में बोले तो 2004 के बारे में नहीं मालूम है
तो 19 में क्या चला जनरली सबके माइंड में क्या था इलेक्शन में कौन सा एजेंडा लिए तो अगर जीत सकते
अरे पाता का
हाँ 19 में और 14 में
14 और कौन सा भी 4 या 2009 या 14 या 2019
14 में बोलते एक चाय वाला पीएम कहीं को नहीं बन सकता बोल के वो आवाज चला 19 में बोले तो चौकीदार और एक बार चाय वाला पीएम कहीं को नहीं बन सकता बोल के वो आवाज चला
ओके चौकीदार
हाँ चाय वाला चौकीदार बन गया 19 में
okay okay if possible Santosh if you can add some points Santosh hello so yeah I'll quickly go to Parvez Kanji yeah so we'll move to next point actually so
first, I'll add some points here.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, see, elections are contested on the basis of two major issues, we can say. And one is the polarization, divide and rule. This is the one agenda that political parties they use. And another is the development. These are the only two main, we can say, the agendas: polarization and development. See,
no, maybe
development.
There may be strategies. What you're saying is strategies.
Strategies that is the strategy we can say. So these are the two pillars, we can say, that these two poles of the election contesting. Development is very difficult for any political party to promise and to fulfill, but on the basis of communal division, it is very easy. Just raise your voice against a particular community, caste, or a religion, then the people of majority, they come in favor you. I'll give the example of America also. This time it happened in America also. When Donald Trump won the election, just only 2 minutes I'll take, because I'll
Yeah.
explain the same scenario happened in America. What happened? Donald Trump, everybody knew before the election that Donald Trump had a very bad character. He was a businessman, and his views about women, many things were against him. But what he did, in spite of that, he chose some agendas which were burning at that time. The first one was that the matter of Native Americans and migrants, because Native Americans are more in numbers. Second, his agenda was that Americans and Mexicans, because there is general opinion about the Native Americans that Mexicans, they come in America and they increase the crime. So he spoke against Mexicans also. And the third one, he spoke against Muslim community also. And these three issues he raised a lot. In spite of his bad image among the people, the Americans voted him. So it was a clear agenda of, we can say, or strategy of polarization. The majority belongs to the Native Americans who voted in favor of him. But the people, those who were sincere scholars, and the people, those who pro-development, they immediately resigned from their responsible position as soon as Donald Trump won the election. So this proves that polarization, divide and rule, works more than the agenda of development. So something like that also happened in our country also.
Mhm. Okay. So the same point, whatever Parvez Khanji has said, I just want the same opinion to Upender wants to add something. Upender.
Yeah, I
Upender.
just want to add one point to the 2014 general elections. As you know,
Okay.
a picture speaks 1,000 words. So till 2014, there wasn't any model that was presented to the voters. So in 2014, what they brought was they brought Gujarat model. They said, uh, if will if you make us win, we will develop country like the way we developed Gujarat. So that proven model made people think who they should vote. So that acted as a catalyst.
Okay. Yeah, I just want go to the next question actually. So we want to encode, understand the what are the agendas of. I think we'll talk about 2019 election mostly because this will predict the 2000 next coming elections. So when can we expect the next election, general elections? I just want to have a 2024.
Yeah.
2000, Anna?
24.
Yeah, 2024. Okay.
Yeah.
So now before I go to 2024 agenda, what could be? So I just want to talk about our last election, 2019 general election. So what was the agenda basically focusing more on 2019? What was the Congress and what was the majority opposition Congress and the ruling BJP and other parties? The regional parties were there and national parties like CPI, CPIM, and Aam Aadmi Party was there. So okay, Parvez Khanji, I'll start before I come to Parvez Khanji. Let Ramesh Anna answer this. I'll go to Parvez Khanji. Parvez Khanji will come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, Ramesh Anna. So let's talk about 2019. Yeah.
2019 election, if you see, it was the most I've seen observing elections from the 89 election, for the first election, which I personally, still I recollect that memory. So from the 89, I'm seeing that 89, I've seen 92, then again 96, 99. But I believe that this last election, what we held, which held in 2019, was the most one-sided and most boring election I had seen, because it was almost all certain before the match started, before the toss, the toss, we know the result, what is going to happen. So it was most one-sided election in India fought, and people were already decided to vote whom they want to vote. If you see the trend also, in particular, if you see in a Telangana also, when Telangana Assembly election held 6 months earlier than the Lok Sabha, and if that time voters were already almost clear that we are voting for the regional party TRS, and they are going to form the government. It was one-sided again, and within the 6 months, if you see, there was a some shift on the in the voters' mind, and they have voted for the national parties as well in very well in Telangana. If you say the BJP won the four seats in Telangana, and Congress won the 3 seats out of 17. So now the voters are also clear that how to vote for the when it comes to assembly elections. We need to vote differently. When it's come to national election, we need to vote differently, and nationwide, if it's a general election, people were clear that we are going to vote NDA, and they voted massively, and they won more seats than 2014. So there was not a clear cut this agenda or that agenda. There was the only agenda among the voters that they want to continue with the same government. There was no opposition, because the fight was now not between the parties and the alliances. It was between the one person to the second person. So Mr. A is there. So now who is against the Mr. A? So there was nobody, no B, no C was available in the list. So now voting for the A only. So that is now the new trend has been created. So I fear that in next election also the same agenda, the same system they will follow, and they will create one person. Okay, this person or any other person. If you have an alternative, then show us. Otherwise, we are going with the same person. So there will be no political agenda, there will be no political manifesto, there will be no political slogans. There will be the person name, the person identity, there will be a photo, and we are going to vote then that person, or either for the next available person. So it is going like a presidential kind of election. The trends are going like that. In 2024 also, India is going to follow that particular election, and it's not only to national election. If I say it, the trend is now becoming to in a regional politics also. In a regional politics, it's now the cult personality only. So the personal, if there is an option, you show us. Otherwise, we are going with the that particular person only. So it's that now the individual fights are more. So if I need to beat one party, I have to elevate one leader. I have to produce one leader caliber to him, who can speak well, who can deliver good speech, who can appeal to masses, and then only we can win the elections.
Yeah, I'll go same point to Parvez Khan. We'll talking about 2019. What was the agenda of Congress, and what was agenda of the ruling BJP, and what was agenda of the other parties which are not in majority? So, like, what was the mood of the country? Yeah, Parvez Khan, you continue.
Okay, you are asking. First I'll add one more point in Ramesh Anna's comment. He said that 2019 election was the most boring election. Yes, I agree with you. It was the most boring election, and as you said that nobody was excited. The campaigning was not aggressive. One more thing I will mention here, that even the NDA supporters didn't celebrate it the way they celebrated in 2014. I observed that even the celebration was not there. Though the NDA parties won the election, but even somewhere celebration was also almost reduced by 90%. Reason could be like Mamta Banerjee. I'll mention here Mamta Banerjee's comment. What she said during 2019 election, she said that if this time NDA wins the election, most probably there will be no election in 2024. Reason, the way ruling government included or intervened in the independent administrations like RBI, like election commission, like intelligence agencies. So it was the concern of Mamta Banerjee that the way the current ruling party is dominating independent administration, there will be chances that there will be no election in 2024, and the country will see a drastic change in the governance of India. So in this way, the campaign continued, and most of the top leaders of Congress party, we can say, as we consider Congress is the large opponent of the NDA. So most of the Congress people joined BJP again. So it was that the NDA got stronger again, because all the good spokespersons of Congress party, they left the party and joined NDA, and it was unexpected for the party. So somewhere it was, we can say, a fixed match, a fixed match. Nobody was there in opposition. Therefore, it was very easy to win, and nobody was excited about it. That happened. But in 2024, we will see something very drastical. Something drastical.
Okay. Parvez Khanji ended up with a closed-ended question, open-ended question. Something drastical. 2014-24, we're going to have some drastical. So what
Yeah,
is
I'm
drastic?
carrying forward Mamta Banerjee's statement, because Mamta Banerjee said, if 2019 election is won by NDA, then there are chances there will be no election in 2024, and the Indian pattern of governance could be changed.
Okay.
And she said so. She said so on the basis of involvement of government in independent administrations. As I said, governor, again, intelligence agencies, election commission, railways. I mean, when the ruling party changed many
I think
things.
Parvez Khanji, I want to interfere. Ramesh Anna, I think if that is to be predicted, I think Indira Gandhi could have also done the same thing.
No, she tried, na. If you see the 1975 emergency period, and if you have any elders who have seen that era, so they can say that they can tell you that at 75 she almost tried this to change the system, and the motive of emergency was well known to everybody, that she wanted to take a control of all entire administrative and system. Yeah. Even just last month, June 25th was the anniversary of this emergency, and I was just watching one documentary. In that documentary, one famous journalist, I'm not recollecting his name, he was at young age that time, he was covering emergency. He actually, what he stated in that interview, that actually Indira Gandhi doesn't wanted to held the next election, uh, and so many of his close eyes also suggested her to not to go with elections. We will continue with the emergency and we can govern like this. But suddenly, what happened? She got some confidence from other people that no, the people are still with us. So if I continue this emergency, in the world forum, our name will be diminished. Like India is not a democracy, so we will fight an election, and with our machinery we will win again, and democratically I can come again. But what people had shown, that is very drastic. That the Parvez Bhai was telling the what is drastic. So that kind of drastic step people have taken, and Indira Gandhi herself lost the election in 1977. So this is actually the strength of democracy, where when any political party or any leader think that now I'm above the people's voice and above the democratic structure of the
So
nation,
that's what Ramesh.
they will start a lesson for the people. So people are very clever, so they know to how to safeguard their rights, and when it comes to their rights, they will definitely they will retaliate.
So even I wanted to say the
Only
same
only
thing.
one comment. Only one comment,
Yeah.
I'll say. As Ramesh Anna said about that emergency. So history repeats itself. So if we think 2019 election was the most boring election, we can expect that 2024 election will be the most interesting election and toughest one. Because as if we consider 75, so we can say that history repeats itself.
Yes.
So even I want to add one point here. If that is to be understood, definitely there's going to be a civil war. If somebody is trying to annex the interest of the people, and if definitely there's going to be a civil war, and I think
Yeah, Ravi, the same point I want to continue. Yesterday, the same point I was, my connection was lost and I was not able to join again. But yesterday, I was making the statement that India had seen one such kind of civil war, but it's not a violent civil war. It's a non-violent kind of civil war. In '75, we have already seen. So after the independence, the '75 was the era where there was a huge anti-establishment movement was held. So any agitation, any movement, movement is like a pressure cooker. So the people movement. So it will cook. It will the until unless it get the right temperature, it will be boiling, and suddenly when it get the right temperature, it will
and
like
I want to
it will.
mention here was something dramatic here. Indian people are more dangerous than Corona. If you can't control Corona,
No, yeah, the people not in India.
We can say we can't say people. Actually, we can't say people. We can say the mindset. The mindset
yeah, that's
changes
what.
rapidly.
Yeah,
Mindset
yeah.
changes rapidly.
Suppose I'll tell you something. What I'm trying to say is, if some people think that if we can control Corona, I think they are just dreaming. The same way, if somebody thinks that if you're trying to control Indian people, I think the same thing might happen. That is, you cannot control to some extent. To some extent, you can manipulate people, but
It's
not
not
like
only Indian citizens or any particular. It is a common thing, of common phenomena with every human nature. There is a one stagnation point. Until then only you can control a person.
mm,
That if you break that point, that the trigger will happen. So it will be happen anywhere, not even in India. It can happen to anywhere, in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, US, anywhere it will happen. And but only thing that how much pressure you can put
but
on.
how could China could successfully do it? Then how could China could successfully?
Telling us it will not be successfully longer. It will be explode in China also. It will explode. The people, when the people mindset has in a trouble, and they decide to
I
step
think the biggest example is Israel. I think Iraq. I think Iraq, or I think we talk about. There was a ruler. He was killed actually. His name was
because
Gaddafi. I think
Iraq
Muammar Gaddafi.
case is different, I think, because I doesn't believe that Iraq case was more
No, see, Syria,
more
Ravi Kiran, it is Syria actually. In
Muammar.
Middle East, what are the crises are happening? Only Syria is the country where this civil war started from people's side. In
Muammar
other cases,
Gaddafi.
yeah, not Gaddafi. Actually, Gaddafi in Gaddafi's ruling, he provided the best facilities to the people. Actually, the matter with Gaddafi happened. You know that Gaddafi was
But
trying
he was
to oppose
proclaimed as a terrorist.
American economical domination in Middle East. Gaddafi was trying to stop American involvement in the trade of Middle East, and he was planning to issue gold coins, gold currency, and that was not acceptable for America. So in most of the Middle East countries, there is an involvement of America to de-establish the government. But in Syria, yes, Syria, it was the people's revolt. So we can give the example of Syria.
Yeah, even if you see the most of the Middle East problems was controlled by US or other countries. Yeah, if you say the Iraq also, the
It
Saddam
started
Hussein.
and controlled also.
Yeah, started from the US and controlled by the US. Even the Saddam Hussein case, if you say, it was not the people movement who were
Yeah, I was
totally
talking about
against.
Saddam Hussein. Sorry, Saddam Hussein. I wanted to
Yeah,
mention
yeah.
Saddam
Even
Hussein.
It
even
was
even
American.
no, it was American coup only. It was not the people's coup. Because I studied Iraqi things very much when Saddam Hussein was the general of Iraq. I think there was no, yeah, there was a Shia Sunni thing happening in Iraq, and there was a long war between Iraq and Iran between in the same issue. But if you say the American involvement were more than the people in the Iraq case, and same way in
I,
Afghanistan.
yeah, I want Upender to come in here. Upender. Upender, can you hear me? Hello, Upender, are you there? Hello. Yeah. Till meantime, Upender gets in. We will talk about 2024. Or so, is there a chance that we may expect pre-elections before, like what you can say, prepone elections before 2014, 2024? Is there a chance that we may get pre-hand elections?
You see, pre-poll election, there is a like the agenda. Again, we are talking about the agenda. There is an agenda thrown by the India government from last 2-3 years, that one nation, one election. So if you also heard about this one new phenomena by the government, that one nation, one election, and they are stating that this one nation, one election will save the taxpayers' money, hard-earned taxpayer money, which is very commonly used terminology nowadays, that our hard-earned tax money should be saved, and people are very much emotionally connected to this word, actually this sentence, कि अरे मेरा टैक्स का पैसा बचना चाहिए, तो ये तो सही है, जो कहा है वो तो अच्छा ही होगा. So there is a one this kind of agenda is going on, that एक देश में एक ही टाइम पे इलेक्शन होना चाहिए. So every state and every the central and state elections should be held in a one go. So it will save money, it will save time, it will save the resources, it will save the infrastructure. So many things, the positive things behind this idea is given. So this is the part where they want to have one common election, so it will can be preponed also or postponed also. What so that kind of planning the government is doing, I think. But I don't think it's a practically possible. It's very impractical thing that India is a federal state, and states also have some rights, and all the state assembly need to be dissolved, and they need to be governed centrally. Then only can the one nation, one election kind of thing can happen. And the preponement also, if this idea, because one day in, I think in 2019 or 18, one of the leader has said in 2022, I'm not getting his name, Samvit Patra or anybody, somebody as in some media channel, he said that 2022 we will have one nation, one election. Means all the assemblies will be dissolved, parliament will be dissolved, and 2022 we will have a one election for entire country. So there is a thought process going on in this government, but I don't think that it is practically possible. If this kind of thing pushed to a states, then there will be a big retaliation will be happen from the regional parties, especially from the south, I think.
Okay. So as Congress being one of the longest ruling party, so I just want to know what was the Congress agenda for 2019 and what will be their agenda for 2024, as they were one of the strong one of the rulings party from the past and had also been one of the major opposition. I just want to go with Parvez Khanji. Upender, are you there? Because we're trying to get you. Upender, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
No,
2019.
Yeah, 2019, Upender. Upender, what was the agenda of 2019 and 24 as well?
right. You rightly mentioned this Congress party is a grand old party. It was not established 4 years ago. So they held the central government for longest possible time in the history of India. So I say responsibility lies in that grand old party to educate the people about the other panelists mentioned that the 2024 election could be an exciting one. Maybe there could be an election or cannot be. So all these things they have the responsibility to educate the people what is going wrong, what should be done, and what could possibly go in the next general elections. And they should come up with processes, policies, and ideas uh, that would suppress the uh, uh, suppress the bad motives of the current government. So this is what I think the primary responsibility of opposition should be.
Okay. So yeah, Upender, you were saying that no, you are saying you're appealing. Yeah, it's like you're appealing. I just want to know what was the Congress Party's agenda for 2000 was there for 2019 and 2024. What will be their agenda for 2024? I'll go to Parvez Khan.
See, as far as 2019 is concerned, so I earlier mentioned that Congress was so weak that Congress was just concerned about retaining its own leaders, that nobody should leave the party, nobody should leave the. So the main concern of Congress party was that to retain its all politicians. Therefore, Congress did not raise the issues or did not present their objections before the people and the voters to not vote for the NDA parties. So Congress was the weakest Congress in 2019. Therefore, they couldn't raise issues effectively. Now we talk about 24. So in 2024, I think against ruling party, against NDA, rather than Congress, regional parties will raise their voice more strongly. And the real challenge for NDA will be the regional parties rather than the national parties.
Ramesh, you want to add some point here?
And
Yeah.
in 2019, the
Yeah,
Congress
Upender is
government appeal was, yeah, in 2019, the Congress government appeal was, uh, 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 n- it did not say why people have to had to vote for them. They meant why they should not vote for NDA. But in 2024, what I say is the primary objective has to be why they should vote for Congress, and
Yeah.
they should keep their flock together.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramesh. As a Congress is
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah. I just want to make a quick remark on this. If you see the 2014 elections results, uh, there are the few big states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, or Himachal, Uttarakhand, Haryana, the northern belt, northern and middle belt, and Gujarat. These are the states which have almost 120 to 140 seats between Lok Sabha seats, and there was a zero seats for the Congress in from these 140 seats from this particular state. So they are not able to open their account, and these are the big states and which decides the that who will win the elections. And personally, I felt that in 2019 Congress can pull up 40 to 50 seats from these states, because in politics it's not like in cricket every ball you can't hit six. That so in the politics also every elections you can't draw zero from the particular state, and these are the states where Congress is strong. If you say the Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh or in the Gujarat also they have presence because there is no regional parties. In these four states, if you see, there is a fight between Congress and BJP directly, and the surprisingly that in 2019 again they belong zero. So it's very rare case in the two particular elections from the few states, and the one national party has not even able to win a single seat in consecutive two elections. So it was very alarming for the Congress. It's a, as Parvez Bhai said, it's the weakest Congress, and the weak, so they are not able to convince people why they should vote. Like Upender also mentioned that they should ask vote for themselves. They should not tell that wo bura aadmi hai to vote do. No, that politics can't work now. Now you have to show your positivity, your credibility to the people. Then only people will trust you. Because after that Anna movement, like Parvez Bhai mentioned earlier also in this discussion, Anna movement dented very hardly to Congress, and still they are not coming out from that hangover, that anti-corruption. Now is that Congress means corruption. C and C, Congress corruption are both are same. So still the middle class, the common middle class, because Anna movement was so badly infected in middle class mind that now they hate Congress actually. So if they want to come out from that thing, they need to do something different. They need to have more contact with the people. They lost somewhere the connection between voters and the party. And the most of the leaders like Parvez Bhai mentioned that they are moving to BJP. Still, we are seeing from Madhya Pradesh, one of the prominent youth leader joined BJP. Again, it's happening in Rajasthan. Again, it happened yesterday in Maharashtra. One of the good young leaders is joining other parties. So they are not keeping intact their own family, own party. So that is a major thing, that organizational structure should be better. The leader should be intact, and the good communication between the voters and the leaders and their credibility. Yes, if we comes to power, we will give this. If we come to power, we'll give this. It's better not to show the more negative parts of the present government, because people will understand when you start doing showing your positivity. So Congress need to think beyond this, and they need to work much harder if in 2024 they want to, because still Congress is the biggest opposition party. Regional parties are there, but regional parties still only consider to their own geography. So it's a larger part of the having the giving the fight to the India government is the responsibility of Congress, and Congress should take that responsibility and fight the elections.
Yeah, Parvez Kanji.
As far as Congress is concerned, so what I think, common people, the common voters, they think that Congress is the only government which can take all the people of all castes and communities. Congress can take them ahead. Congress can talk about the rights of everyone. Congress talk about poor also. Congress can talk about the democratic values also. But you know what happened? The common workers and common voters love Congress more than the leaders of Congress. The people, those who are at responsible positions in Congress party, they even don't love their own party the way the common people love Congress party. Now, what is happening slowly, gradually, these common people are also losing their faith in Congress party, because we see that we don't know which Congress top leader will join BJP or any other political party. So this is the reason that the top leaders of Congress, they don't love party more than the common voter. And if it continues, then again, as I said, regional parties will be the real opposition for NDA government.
Yeah. So I just want to let's conclude today's topic with one last question. So today's last question will be like, we can see before 2004 elections, the young people were not there in political parties as a top leader. So to become a top leader, you have to be a certain 55 age, like that. That was a mindset if you see 2004. But now we can see that young people are showing interest in getting into take the role of a top leadership. So do we think that can we expect young people to come into politics and take the role of a big players? So I'll start with Ramesh.
Ravi, you mentioned that now you are seeing the few young people who are taking responsibility of the party. Can you just name few of them?
No, not few. I mean to say coming to top leadership. I mean to say.
No, can you just name few of them if you remember some of the names of any party?
Some of them.
I have only few names.
No, Ravi, because if you say the names, then I'll tell you it's the genuine or not. There's a logic why I'm asking this question, Ravi. You can name a few, one or two, three young leaders, which comes to your mind.
You can say Jagan also, one way you can say. I mean, previously it was like 40, 55 above and all people used to be top.
I just want the three names who you think that young and dynamic who came to politics. Three names, if you can take. You have taken Jagan, okay.
I think in one of the Balka Suman became MP from our Telangana also. That is one.
Yeah, from Telangana.
Yeah, even in our Secunderabad, one of the youngest contestant, our MP, Secunderabad MP has contested for the MP. So like we can
Yeah,
see like everywhere, maybe they are not winning or anything, but they are taking a bigger role as well. I can see.
so now why I was asking, okay, out of three, one name, I definitely
Jyotiraditya Scindia, Jyotiraditya Scindia.
out of three names, talking about three names, Ravi. Okay, Balka Suman, really, he's a person who came from the movement of Telangana agitation. He was a student of OU and very well participated in the agitation, and now but most of the, I think say the 90% of the leaders who are below 30 and or below 45, whom we consider youth, are just an relation or relatives or kids of our senior leaders. 90%, I can bet you. You can take the list out of all the parliamentarians and the
Now, if you
MLA.
can see one of the person from Bihar, his name is in JNU. He was
No,
Kanhaiya
what I'm
Kumar also.
it's a 90%. I'm saying the 90%. I'm not saying the 100%, but the 90% prominent leaders, youth leaders, so-called, are just from the one word is very famous nowadays, nepotism. It's very famous after the Sushant Singh's suicide case. So nepotism kind of thing. We should have one discussion on this also, nepotism in politics. So the mostly youth leaders are coming from the top to bottom. If you see from the north to south, one thing is common. Whenever the youth leader is coming, they might be son or daughter or somewhere relative to a senior leader. So I don't see that there is a healthy sign, because when we have a 35% of the population, I think 35 or it's more than, who are below 35 years of the age, why more leaders are not coming, more genuine leaders who are not related to person? Because if I want to, or Ravi
No,
want to
even
come
even I want to answer Ramesh, even if they are even if they are the sons or relative of the top brass of the political party, I think there's nothing wrong in that.
nothing wrong. I'm saying it's nothing wrong. I'm saying
They
it's
they
totally
may do well.
okay.
They may do well even. I mean, we
It's
cannot expect that
okay.
just because
No,
they're relative of someone or son of someone, they can't do anything. They may do.
it's totally okay for me,
I can
because
I can I can give one example. For example, if you take
but why?
Yograj Singh, his son
Yeah,
was Yuvraj Singh. He did really well.
cricketer. He became cricketer. Okay, his father was not successful. Son is successful.
But son was successful.
Sunil Gavaskar was successful. His son Rohan
That is that
Gavaskar was
we
successful.
cannot be like all the children of their.
But my question is that the how easy they comes to a politics. It's very difficult to come a common person, common youth, to become a overnight leader. It's very like you have mentioned from our Secunderabad, one of the youngest candidate who had contested, just 33 of 32 or 33 is his age. Is it possible you to contest an election? You are also bright for me. You are also knowledgeable. You speak very well, but it's easy to contest you an election. Even if you're not politically aligned or you are not active, if you are active also, I can bet you will not get a chance. But few people are privileged, so they get easily, they get a cakewalk.
No, at least
So
that is somewhere a good sign, right? Somewhere it's a good sign that young people are coming.
I think it's a good sign. It's not a good sign, I can say, because for me it's a waste actually. What I'm doing, if I have a son, okay bhai ab tu ban ja MP. So it's a Rajtantra. It is not a democracy. It's a Rajtantra. Like
I think
Ashok के बाद
you can see in Maharashtra also, like Vanasi, I think.
अकबर के बाद उसका बेटा बादशाह बनेगा, अशोक के बाद उसका ही बेटा सम्राट बनेगा. So that is
Parvez
the
Khan.
thing. There is no change actually. I'm not
Yes.
against should come to politics, because if they are political background family, definitely they will have an interest in politics. They will come. But why
Yes.
chance
As
is not given to common person?
yes, as
Parvez Khan.
Ravi asked about the young people entering into politics. So yes, we have some names like Jagan Mohan Reddy, again Arvind Kejriwal, and that Mahua Motra from West Bengal.
I think we can talk about
Only
Maharashtra
young
also.
Maharashtra, yes, yeah. I'm coming to that also. That Imtiaz Jalil from my constituency, Imtiaz Jalil, he is also young, youngest politician who became MP from this region. Now, my point is that only being young is not enough, because see there are many cricketers and actors also became politicians like Sunny Deol Again, we can say that Gautam Gambhir. But what is their contribution? What is their role? What are they doing? So being young is not enough. We need to check their background, their contribution, their experiences, their knowledge, and their awareness about socio-political changes in the country. So we can say that Arvind Kejriwal is the ideal youth entering into the politics. We can say Imtiaz Jalil is the ideal youth entering into the politics, because these people served in this particular field for a long time, and they understood the socio-political changes in the country and what is the requirement, what are the issues, and what are the solutions. So I am giving you the example of only these two people, but there are many people in this way, like Imtiaz Jalil and Arvind Kejriwal. These people spent their whole life in social affairs, and they dealt with the people. When they came into the politics, it became very easy for them to spot the problem and to correct the problem. So being young is not enough. We need to check their contribution also. Now we can take the example of Jyotiraditya Scindia. He is from a royal family. He is also young, but what he did, he left the party, which party gave him opportunities, and he proved to be opportunities. So being young is not enough. We need to check their backgrounds also. Again, if Kanhaiya Kumar wins the election, he could be also one of the best examples, because he was associated with many public movements. So my point is that being young is not enough. Being young with a particular contribution in the society is necessary.
I'll go to Upender. Upender.
Yeah, I also agree with Parvez Khan bhai. So in my opinion, age is just a number. So a wise person, I prefer a wise person rather than a young person. That a wise person need not be young. So that person must be intellect, matured, and should have a desire to serve the people. So I encourage such people. So those are the people I'll look for in the next coming general elections.
Before we close today's discussion, I want anyone to have final comments on today's discussion. Yeah, Parvez Khan.
Yes. So in concluding points, I would say that if only development is the agenda, it will be in favor of people, in favor of nation, and in favor of political parties also. Because political parties will also prefer the candidates, those who perform very well. Otherwise, what happened? Polarization has become the favorite term for the politicians. Just divide two communities and raise up a controversial issue and give some slogans just appear the election and win the election on that basis. So my concern is that election should be contested on the basis of development, progress, harmony, democratic rights, and finally agenda, manifesto, and slogan should match with each other, because we have observed that a manifesto is pro-development, but just 2-3 days before the election, someone comes and creates communal tension, and the people get one-sided. Even if the candidate is not suitable, but people vote him because the speaker or the person who comes to give a speech before the election, he creates communal tension, and people, they just vote for the person who belongs to their community or caste. So it should be avoided.
Okay. Any Ramesh, any final comments before we close today's talk?
Yeah, final comment is mostly like Parvez bhai only. Yeah, I wish it's my wish that in 2024 or whenever the next general elections happen, my wish and my appeal to all the political party to not to use caste and religion as the trump card. They should use their development and their previous work, previous record, and the future development of the country, and they ensure that election will be fought on those पॉजिटिव नोट्स, नॉट इन द नेगेटिविटी दैट हमारा धर्म खतरे में है, ना हमारा ये मजहब खतरे में है, ना हमारी कास्ट खतरे में है. सो ये तीन चीजों से मत डराओ पब्लिक को ये बोलो कि आगे क्या होने वाला है, आगे हम क्या करेंगे आपके बेहतरी के लिए, उसके ऊपर इलेक्शन लड़े. That will be much better for betterment for our country's democratic structure. Otherwise, as yesterday we discussed, the civil war will happen.
Thank you so much, Parvez Khanji. Thank you so much, Ramesh Anna. Thank you so much, Upender, for being.
Thank you so much.
It was really
Thanks for
wonderful.
such a topic. Yeah. Okay.
Good night,
Thanks so
Parvez
much.
Khanji.
Good night. Take care. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Ramesh Anna, good night.
Good night. Good night.